What do you reckon, guys? Should we go in? We've had enough, yeah? Alright, hello guys, the EdShed. And just doing a video here on this. Now, this has been seen in the background over the years. I've had it actually, well, it's been in the family connection for 7 years. Bought it originally with a smoking engine, and it was easier to change the engine than it was to fix the old one. Bleeding off the injectors back into the cylinders and causing smoke on startup. It's been an incredible car. I mean, to give it the truth, it has been an incredible car. It's had abuse, it's had travel, it's been everywhere, it's had start-stop journeys, it's had, you name it, it's had it. And it's never ever let anybody down. So it's been a good car. We've recently sort of got her back again, and now she's actually gone again because she's going to a new owner, hopefully. But we've got the use of it for a while. As you see, X-type diesel. It's a 2.2 6-speed with leather, with navigation, with heated seats, with all the knobs and whistles. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. But I mean, basically, this is. Sorry, I was not there, was I? I was somewhere else. But yeah, so we're going to take it for a drive. We're going to give you a nice, honest review of what I think of X-type diesels, and I didn't get that. Whoever that was, I'm not good at those sort of things.
A much maligned car,
Much
because
maligned
it's
car.
actually a Ford Focus.
It's
It's a Mondeo.
It's not a Mondeo. It's a Jaguar. I mean, look at it. Look, just look at that. I mean, leather everywhere. Imitation wood everywhere. It's got airbags everywhere. You name it, it's got it. It's got this one's got TVs in the rear screens, although no one's ever been able to get them to work. But maybe somebody knows how they work, but we don't. But anyway, so I've been jumping on every year. I will say.
Surprise!
Every year, this car has gone for its MOT, and every year, with minimum amount of stuff, it's passed. I mean, I think it had a spring on it, a front spring. It had some anti-roll bar link bushes. Starts lovely. I mean,
It's almost pointless.
yeah, well, we mentioned that, but anyway. So, like I said, she starts out, she runs all right. I mean, she's not. How do you put it? She's not a flying machine at the moment. I must admit. I don't know quite why, but she's not. Now, obviously, the rear parking sensors are not beeping, so that's something that's. I think it's always not beeped, hasn't it, over the years? I don't think the rear parking sensors have ever beeped. But anyway, so we've got heated front screen, heated rear screen, rear defrost. It's got in the hedge. It's got all the controls from the steering wheel, which is lovely. It's got. I mean, it's not a Mondeo. That's what I will say. It might have a Mondeo engine. It might have a Mondeo gearbox. It might have a Transit engine, actually, because I think the 2.2 was actually the best engine ever made. I think all the others, I think the 2.4 was crap, and the 2 litre wasn't that great, but the old 2.2 seems to be a good motor. I think the 6-speed gearbox is supposedly a bit weak, I've heard on the grapevine, but obviously we've not had that issue with our particular gearbox. Mileage is actually like a lot less than it says. Remarkably enough, the car says it's done about 111,000, but the engine that we put in it, I think only had about 40,000 miles on it. So even if we said it might be less than 100,000 miles up to now. Now, she runs lovely. I mean, as you can see there, I mean, I don't know. And it doesn't look like a Mondeo. I think it's a good looking car. I mean, that's my own personal opinion of it. It's not quite as good looking as an E-Type, but it's a Jaguar, so I like it. Now, we haven't got, well, I mean, we haven't got anything we can say about the drive. It just drives lovely. I mean, too many gears is something that I've always complained about, because they did an automatic. I think this is the only one that he did an automatic version of. Possibly because the 2.2 engine actually had the guts to pull it, where the 2 litre would have pulled a greasy man out of bed, wouldn't it, really? But anyway, she's just a nice old car, and obviously we don't really need to do her sales because she's already sold. So we're not going to say to somebody, hey, but I would recommend if you wanted one and you can get a 2.2 6-speed auto, I'd buy one. Because I drove this on a long journey and I did like 62 miles to the gallon on diesel, keeping it at a constant speed, cruise control obviously, and it was incredibly good. It was lovely. It was a beautiful car to drive. It was lovely to drive. I mean, if you know, if you had to say you were going to go a long way in one, that sort of miles per gallon, yeah, that's what I want. And it's not slow by any means. You know, I think it's about 150 horsepower, I think they said, or they were, but I mean, obviously a few horsepowers have escaped over the years. A few horses have got out of the field. But I mean, and we have a light on the dash, so no, we'll have to investigate what that is. Possibly we've got a light there. For all the experts, someone's going to go, oh, that's a check engine light. Yeah, well, I mean, it's not really making any difference to the drive, not that I can see anyway. So I'm not going to say I'm busting a gut to plug the thing in to find out what it is. It wasn't on there for the MOT, I know that. So it's a new light. Maybe, I mean, look, it's had a lot of, over the years, it's had a lot of abuse. It had a lot of sort of, for a long period of time, at least over 2 years, it had a sort of just a drive of like, you know, 6 miles or 10 miles driven at like sensible speeds every day. So possibly that hasn't helped with the old DPF. Whether it's even got a DPF on it, I don't know. I mean, I would like to take a guess. I mean, what do I know about cars? Nothing. But, you know, everything else about it is really quite, you know, I mean, it's a lovely drive. It's a good car. I mean, you can't, you know, and it doesn't look, when people say, oh yeah, it looks like a Mondeo. Well, if you've got a Mondeo, great. But if you've got an X-Type, you've got a Jag. So, you know what I mean? You can't say, nah, it's my Mondeo's a Jag. But there is a funny story years ago that my daughter was at school with a person who probably is actually a subscriber, I hope, and he was always like a little bit of, I don't know, he used to go on because my daughter would say, I get picked up in an E-Type, and they were always a bit like, what's that? Oh, it's an E-Type. So this kid said to my daughter one day, he said, we're getting a new car, we're getting a new car, we're getting a new car. And this was before the X-Type even came out, isn't it? So I mean, that was that long ago. And he kept saying, we're getting a new Jag, we're getting a new Jaguar. Yeah, I mean, possibly with hindsight, when the new car finally did show up, it was a Ford Mondeo, wasn't it, rightly? Which caused great laughs all over his face. But yeah, so that was a funny story that, yeah, the kid thought his dad was buying a Jag and he bought a Mondeo before the X-Type came out. So he'd be right now, wouldn't he? No, he wouldn't. It's not a Mondeo. There's no similarity between this and a Mondeo that I've ever seen. Not that I ever had a Mondeo, I don't know. Anyway, I've got to turn you off there, guys, for a minute, like, because we've done a lot. I've talked too much. Regrets, I've had a few. So if you enjoy watching these sorts of dribblage things, please like and subscribe. Follow me about. Click on those little buttons. Click here, there, and everywhere. And you know, as I said before, we do enjoy comments. We like to see people. We're down here to see if there's any Mondeos. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope. I don't think he's here. But anyway, so for the minute, guys, I'm going to turn you off and say thanks for liking, thanks for following us about, and please keep following and keep liking. I'll see you soon. Bye.